Hello, and welcome to another episode of AWS Tech Tales. I'm your host, Matt Burke.
And I am your co-host, Samara Reaño. Welcome back, everyone.
Welcome to the show. If this is your first time tuning into Tech Tales, this is the show where we talk about real-life customer issues, what you can do to solve them. And today, the real-life customer issue is, I don't know nothing about AI.
Then, what is it called? Get ready for a fascinating episode then, Matt.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know nothing. Let us know in the chat. So we're going to be focusing with our guest Kaushik in just a little bit about a new low-code tool. We've shown some low-code. Oh my god, I can't speak today. Low-code ML tools before here on the show. We've brought up Party Rock a few times. If you haven't
Yes.
checked out Party Rock and you're just looking for a quick way to develop an app, you have an idea and you want to just let AI do the rest, that's the one for you. And we're going to take it a bit further today on the show with a new service. Well, not a new service, but with a service that we're highlighting for the first time here today.
Yep, that is true. So I'm hoping everyone is looking forward to today. So drop your hellos in the chat. Let us know where you're connecting from today.
Yash Buva, welcome to the show. Thanks for tuning in. Zamar, when we were doing the rehearsal for this episode, what were your thoughts about? Like, what do you think the audience should be excited for?
I think that they should be excited about the integrations. That was something that kept me on my toes during, I guess, like the practice run for this. I felt like as we progressed through the presentation, like all the questions that I was anticipating to ask were getting answered. And I was like, oh, like that, it's so cool. I love to kind of like have my answers even before I can bring them up to the presenter itself. So I thought that that was amazing. So I think that that's what we're going to really highlight today.
Yeah, I agree. Like it's what I like about our episode today is that we have a very logical flow of building something together, which sometimes we jump straight into some sort of broken architecture, or we jump straight into the use case, and we're going to spend a little bit more time kind of building it out. And I'm excited to do it. So, folks, say hi. Let us know that you're out there. We got a lot of folks on the Twitch channel today.
Yeah, happy Monday, everyone. I know it's like the beginning of the week. And, you know, yesterday was Father's Day. So I'm pretty sure that a lot of people also are like, oh, we're back to Monday. But yep.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of people might be off because it's Juneteenth week as well. So I've been talking to customers like, we're out Thursday, we're out Friday.
So it's like a shorter week.
Yeah, and then people have like today I was hearing is the last day of school for some folks. I don't know if it's the case.
Well, over here in California, we're already done with school. So yeah, it's been like a couple of weeks already. So, but I have heard of other states that are still in session.
Okay, that makes sense. Well, I think that without further ado, we can bring our guest in.
For sure.
So let's welcome him to the show.
All right.
Kaushik, welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
It's great to see you. Why don't you introduce yourself to the Tech Tales audience? Let them know a little bit about you.
Absolutely. My name is Kaushik Das. I'm based in San Diego, California. I'm a technical account manager from Amazon Web Services. So I work with Matt and Zamara, and I help my customers on AWS adoption, anything related to AWS essentially.
Awesome.
Any interest outside of your everyday work that you would like to share? I see some guitars in your background, so maybe you have some guitar interest.
I am a drummer, percussionist.
Nice.
In all kind of music. So I listen to a lot of music, try to create a little bit of music, and then play any kind of percussion instrument that I can get hold of.
That's awesome. All right, so what do you have for us today? What is the topic that you're going to cover?
Right. So I think before I joined, you were talking about customer issues, right? So as a technical account manager, I work with healthcare and life science customers. And then essentially any customer that we work with nowadays, we see that the companies, the customers, they're rapidly adopting AI and ML technologies. But This trend has created a significant challenge as well. There are too many AI project ideas, too many POCs that they want to do, but not enough data scientists to work on them all. And this is creating a growing backlog of projects and POC ideas, right? So we know when we work with business
Oh, I have a quick technical.
managers, uh, they they have the valuable customer insights. Are you able to see my screen?
I can pull it up right now.
Okay, yeah. So when we talk to the business teams, we understand that they have the customer insights, but they lack the technical coding skills that are needed to implement the ML solutions themselves. Also, the limited availability of the of the data scientists that make it very difficult to quickly move towards solutioning, quickly move finding solutions and accelerating adoption, right? This represents a clear need, what we call clear need of AI or ML democratization across organizations. And that's where the SageMaker canvas that we are going to talk about today comes in. This tool addresses the challenges, and I feel that there are essentially three key benefits that you see here in this screen. First, they enhance the data scientists' productivity by automating some of the repetitive tasks that they do. That allows the technical experts to focus on things that they like to do more, right? Writing code, solving complex problems that truly require their skill. And then also the business teams are empowered to develop their own forecast, own predictions, and they can kind of, they can accelerate on things that they want to do without writing code, expanding ML capabilities throughout the organizations. And then finally, these tools, they facilitate seamless collaboration between the technical and non-technical teams. Business users can leverage the sophisticated models that are created by the data scientists, while the data scientists can effectively refine and scale solutions that are initially developed by the business people, business analysts.
Sounds good.
Great. Yeah.
I really like the synchronization.
The wheel is very hypnotizing.
Yes.
Just keep looking at it, right? Yeah.
Yes.
So there is a new feature that is added to SageMaker Canvas, and that's Amazon Q Developer, which guides you through natural language, right? I mean, you can chat with it, say that this is my problem, what do I do? And then it asks, what kind of data set do you have? You upload the data set, breaks down the entire ML lifecycle, and then helps you perform all the steps, right? So if we have to look at what is machine learning lifecycle, then there's essentially these high level steps. It all starts with data, right? Without data, nothing happens. So you start finding data, and then you prepare the data. Think of it as like, setting the stage. We gather
Mm-hmm.
data, clean it up, fill in the missing pieces, transform it, right, into a format that our algorithms can understand it better. It's like preparing different ingredients before cooking a complex meal. And then once you have the data, then you choose the right algorithm for your problem. You can have many options, like regression models for predictions, decision trees for classifications. For complex problems, you can have neural networks, several others. AutoML technology like SageMaker Canvas that simplifies this task for you by automatically selecting and testing these algorithms. Sometimes it could be combinations of algorithms, right, to best represent the data's pattern. And then you train the model, which is essentially letting it learn from the experiences, like how we learned from our experiences. And then once the training is done, then you try to test it with some real data and see real data that it has not seen before, and try to see whether it requires more training. Sometimes if it is not performing well enough, you may have to go back and refine it. And finally, when you are satisfied with the performance, then you deploy the model into production, integrating it with other applications. Amara, you were talking about integration before, right?
Okay.
And where it can provide real business value. Now, Amazon Q Business, and we will see this in detail today, in SageMaker Canvas, helps build the ML model using the chat interface. You can state the problem in natural language, and then it will guide you through what you need to do.
Which is super helpful because not a lot of us enjoy reading the documentation.
It's
Yeah,
essentially a workflow guidance and exactly what you need to do and how it's going to happen. So I think that that's the greatest part of it.
right. So we can try to solve a business problem today, right? And then if time permits, then we can do something like image classification, some of the more complex tasks that SageMaker can help you.
Sounds good.
Yeah, let's dive in.
Okay, so to use SageMaker Canvas, you go to your AWS console, and then you can go to SageMaker AI. And Amazon SageMaker AI is essentially everything, all things that you want to do related to AI and ML. There are other solutions like Bedrock, etc., which is more for managed services related to generative AI. But here on SageMaker AI screen, you will see that Canvas appears along with SageMaker Studio on the left-hand navigation, right? So you click on Canvas, and then you'll have to set up. I'll not go through the setup steps in detail, but we will look at more like what business problem can you solve. So when you go to SageMaker Canvas screen, you will see that if you have worked on it before, your recent work will appear here. There will be some blog posts, news, learning material, etc. And on top of this, you will see the banner for Amazon Q, because this is the recently launched integration.
Mhm.
Also from the left navigation, you can go to Amazon Q. Now this works. I know that Q developer, there are two versions of it. One is free version, another is pro. But then the SageMaker Q, Amazon Q developer in SageMaker Canvas works for both kind of users, pro as well as the free version users. And then here you can start a new conversation and chat with your generative AI assistant to solve the complex AI ML problem that you have. So for today, because I work with healthcare and life sciences customers, I thought that we can probably do a demo of a healthcare and life science problem. And for that, I have some data that I have gathered as well. So, a lot of people with health related, like diabetic patients, they go to hospital for complex situations, and then they are readmitted, right? So consider that you are a healthcare administrator at a hospital, and then you are trying to determine the probability of a diabetic patient's readmission to the hospital, right? So for that use case, there is a data set that we identified. It's from University of California Irvine's machine learning repository, and this has 10 years of data across 130 US hospitals, and which has this data set is, I think it has 59,700 or 500 rows, approximately
Wow.
That is a lot.
69. Yeah, so 70,000 rows of data. And then a lot of features, a lot of variables, like what is the patient's gender, age, what type of admission that person had, um, how much time that person stayed in the hospital, and then some of the things like what kind of procedures were done, what kind of blood tests were done
Mhm.
on that patient, right? And then there is also another column which says that whether this person was readmitted later on to the hospital, right? So there is a readmitted column. So I downloaded this data set already, and then what we can do is we can ask Q, saying that I am a healthcare administrator at a hospital. My goal is to identify or predict the high risk diabetic patients predict the high risk diabetics patients is patients are predict if the high risk diabetic patients are likely readmitted to hospital. Let me copy rest of the prompt here. to save
And
some
now
time.
we're doing some prompt engineering.
Yes. So I'm saying I'm a healthcare administrator at a hospital. My goal is to predict if the high risk diabetic patients are likely to get readmitted to hospital after previous encounter within 30 days or after 30
Okay.
days or not. Right? We can probably make it a better prompt, but I'll just go with it right now.
Pretty descriptive as well. So I think we should be good.
Okay.
Well, we'll see what Q says now.
Right. And
We'll
for
see
our
what you all
viewers, if
say in
at
the
any
chat. Yeah.
point you guys have any questions, don't be shy. Drop your comments or questions in the chat. And we'll bring them forward.
Yeah, and also it will be good to hear from the audience if they have any idea about a new AI or ML kind of model that they're thinking of, any business problem that they think can be
Or if
solved.
they're currently using this already and have experience doing this,
Right?
can give us their feedback as well.
Or if
Yeah.
they're studying for any of our new AML certifications, I'm sure SageMaker Canvas comes up.
Right? Yeah, absolutely. So as you can see, Q says that based on your business context, I can help you convert this into a machine learning task. We are predicting an outcome with 3 distinct categories, and this is going to be a multi-class classification. So classification is yes, no, and then multi-class is because we are predicting 3 kind of things, right? 3 outcomes. And then it says that would you like to upload your data set now? So just follow it. I want to upload my data set, and then it will ask you to upload the data set. And there are also so if you have the data set uploaded already, then you can use it. If not, then you can create a new data set, right? And then we'll just keep this name, create, and you can either do a local upload, or there are multiple connectors. If you have the data already, then you can use it. There are 55, it shows 55 connectors that are already available to get the data source. What we will do is we will select the file from my computer because I downloaded the data, and this is the CSV file that I have, right? So we'll just go ahead. It will take some time to upload the data.
And we can play our famous waiting music while it does so.
Right? And then you can preview. This shows the first 100 rows of the data, right? And these are the columns. Readmitted is the column that we want to essentially predict. Nice.
I like it that it's like you can go to another conversation if you want. Is there anything else that you want me to do while you're waiting? Oh, nope, there you go.
Okay. Once the data set is uploaded, it starts analyzing the data set once it is uploaded. Okay. Then you can.
So how long does it typically take for the data to be uploaded?
It depends on the size of the data that you are uploading. All right, but once it is uploaded, you can use it always. It's always there, so it will not take much
That's great.
time.
Oh, I see that it's successful now.
Right. So it says that now you have the data. Let's move forward with setting up the machine learning task, and then you define the target column, right? So this should be the column in your data set that represents the readmission category. So you want to choose the target column, and we know that readmitted is the target column here.
So this is an interesting question. How is this app different from platforms like OpenAI, Gemini? I'll take an initial stab on it, Kaushik, and then I'll let you respond. But this is building your own version. When you use something like OpenAI or Gemini, the chatbot's already built out and created for you, and it can answer things in natural language. Q is your assistant within AWS. Now you can customize Q using things like Q for Business to build your own application on top of Q. But that is the major difference here is we're using this to now take action within our AWS environment. Is that a good enough explanation, Kaushik?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And so if you look at it, I mean, it kind of determined that this is the column that you want as your target column. So you can either agree with Q or you can choose a different target column if you want. So you just agree because Q is correct in this case. And you can also ask questions like, what is the quality of my data? Or what are the data preparation steps that you want to take? If you are absolutely new to machine learning, you can ask questions like, what is multi-class classification? right? Or what are the potential algorithms that you will choose for this kind of problems? What are the difference between these algorithms, etc.? So it's essentially any question that you want to ask related to this data set or the model, you can ask it and you will get the desired answer.
It's like
So
what you said, right? As a new user, it's like a basis of like getting your kind of first level education of exactly how the workflow takes place. It kind
right?
of like really getting a grasp of all the different steps that take to get you to where you want to be.
Yeah, yeah. So it shows you the analysis of the data quality. You can also ask like what are the data preparation steps that you have performed already on the data set. If you have performed any, you can also view the data set in Canvas. We'll just ask a few more questions and then we will start building the model.
Sounds good.
What I like is, yeah, what I like is like it's giving you those direct hyperlinks too. If you want to continue to explore, it's giving you the statistics.
Right, yeah, yeah.
So right now, folks that are just tuning in, Kaushik just has an idea for this new machine learning model, asking about whether patients are remitted or not to the hospital. Can we determine that? And so we just uploaded its data set. Now we're just kind of walking through these steps that Q is telling us how to build it.
Right. Yeah. So the data preparation is going on, and then once it is done, then it will ask me that launch my training job. So what you can do is you can just click on launch my training job, and then with the data, um, the SageMaker Canvas model will start to be trained. So what it has done is target column is readmitted, and this is the model type that it has already told us before. And the objective metrics is accuracy here because we want to determine it as accurately as possible. There are two types of builds that are possible. Quick build is something that takes 15 to 20 minutes of time for this data size. If we had to do standard build, it would probably take 2 to 5 hours of time, right? So it automatically selected quick build, we'll go ahead with it. And usually the data split is done with 80%. The data that I uploaded, 80% of that will be chosen as training data, 20% of that would be a validation data. And with that, we can start the build model. Like I said, we could have asked it multiple questions. And so if you look at it, it says your training job has been successfully launched. Now the job is in progress. So we will, and this shows the steps. We call it explainability. It kind of shows all the steps that has already happened on this data set and that is currently in progress, right?
So we have a question.
Yes,
It says, can we easily plug in the output code and deploy it on AWS?
Yes, we will show how you can do that, but that is possible. Yes. So I already built this model with a little bit of lesser data, and then we can see how the model was built and how we can do prediction with that model that was built. So very similar data set. Earlier I asked that this is what I want to do, and then the model was built approximately at this point. But we can ask, after the model was built, we can ask that how accurate is my model.
Well, it kind of gives you the prompt on the top as well to ask.
Right, yeah. This probably does not have a very highly accurate model, and that's partly because I used a quick build and also did not use too much of data. But for demo purpose, probably 60% accuracy. If I'm wrong, yeah, 57% of accuracy. So you can ask questions like, what is the algorithm that was used, and then also start predicting using that model. So it will say that. But if essentially, I mean, while you are interacting with Amazon Q, what is happening here is, so this was used XGBoost was used, and you can ask like comparison why you use this model, why not, etc. But what is happening at the back end is Amazon Q has already created a data flow using Data Wrangler. So data Wrangler, this helps us with preparation of the data. You upload the data set, and then once your data set is uploaded, a new flow is created using Data Wrangler behind the scene. We have not done it ourselves. Q did it for us. So if you look at this is the data type, and then this represents all the columns that was in the data, including the readmitted column that we want to predict. And you can transform some of the data types to a different data type, right? You can aggregate some of these, and there are, I think, approximately 500 plus transformations that are
Wow.
possible, including some of the custom transforms, right? So you can write your own Python code, and then you can transform one or multiple columns, right, with the way that you would like to, right? So this is all done by Q, but if you'd like to do manual transformation on the data that you have, that's possible as well.
We
You
have
can,
another question.
yes, please.
It says, can we suggest our own model?
Can we suggest our own model? Yes, I think from Amazon Q, if you, I have to check, but if I'm not wrong, you cannot suggest new model directly through the prompt, but you can do it from here when you are creating new model.
Okay.
So we will go back to Data Wrangler. So we were looking at transformation, and if you look at, this is the data that was uploaded today, and if you look at this, there were drop duplicate transform that was done, dropping some of the text column, removing outlier, etc. on the data set already by Q. You can also perform your own analysis on the data, combine some of the data, etc. on this. Now, if we look at the model that is did it build already my model?
It's still building.
Still building.
Yeah. Okay, we're putting back on the music.
We can look at some of the models that was already created on the same data set. So if you look at this, this is the quick build that was performed already by Q, and this says that built by Amazon Q. I created a standard build on top of that, which is a different version. But if you look at the Amazon Q's build, these are the steps essentially. Data was selected and a build was performed. This is the data that we had. And if we look at this readmitted column, there are the value distribution that clearly shows, right? So no greater than 30 days, less than 30 days. These are the distribution of the prediction column. This is a 3+ category prediction. And if you look at the data set, if we see the grid view and select any of the columns, we can get additional detail on that column. So if you look at the data quality, there are no issues on the data value, no missing values, no mismatched data type, there are valid values, and this is the distribution of this particular column, right? Readmitted as well. We can check it.
Pretty precise information for sure.
Right. And there is also data visualizer. So if you click on data visualizer,
oh, that's really cool.
Yeah. And if you go to visualization, you can create your own graph to visualize the data. So for example, say I've selected age and this column, number of lab procedures performed on the patient. And if you look at this is a scatter plot. You can change it to a bar chart. And then maybe do.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Right? Exactly. And if you look at this analytics tab, this shows you a correlation matrix here, right? It automatically selects all the columns, but then you can choose to select
whether visualize them or not. I really like that.
Right.
Kaushik, you're getting a nice guitars in the background. People love your guitars.
Right. So color selection, etc. Multiple things are possible using this.
No, it's because not only could you research through the data that you have uploaded, but then you can also even, I guess, like customize it to pick and choose what you want to, let's say, present to your team or present to any meeting. So
Mhm.
it's definitely a very productive tool.
Right, right. So last weekend, I mean, not related to this data because you brought up music. I actually did music direction for a theater.
Oh wow.
Oh,
Saturday.
nice.
Yes, and this is my second time doing it. I mean, I play some gigs with other singers, etc. But this is my second time that I played for a theater. And then what I did is, usually for the theater you put background music, right? You don't make it too loud so that people can hear the dialogues. And then what I did is this time is I layered it with I have SPD SX Pro, which is a Roland octapad type of instrument. So this was mythological play, very epic music dominated play, I would say. And top of that, I layered it with some drum sounds. So it was like
Oh,
war
nice.
music, that kind of thing. It was fun.
So the chat's asking, what was the theater about? Like, what was the show you were doing the music
So
for?
in India, there are essentially two epics. One is Ramayana and one is Mahabharata. So this was about one of the characters in Mahabharata, right? Which is a sad character. He did not want to do anything bad, but unfortunately, he killed a lot of child, right? So it
Oh
was
no.
so it was like a sad story finally, but it was part of the epic, right?
So like a tragedy, kind of like
Tragedy,
Romeo
right?
and Juliet. Okay.
Right, right. But it was good. It was good. I liked it. So that was on Saturday.
Nice.
Very cool.
So if we look at this model was already built, right? If you go to analyze column, then it shows what is the column impact for your prediction. So if you look at this, the number of lab procedures, this has the highest impact. And number of procedures that were performed, which are not lab procedure, other procedures, number of medications that the patient is taking, this has the highest impact on the model prediction, right?
But right now, you would say that the model is not very accurate. It's basically coin
It's not very
toss,
accurate,
right? So we don't look at this, folks, and think, oh, 56%, that's pretty good. No, we don't want that.
It's not.
So question though, so from what you were showing us right here, what if you want to kind of like eliminate some of the data that is taking into account whenever it's making these predictions? Let's say that you want to take away some of the columns that are listed here, since the model is just kind of picking and choosing what they think it's related to the information that you're seeking. But let's say that you want to eliminate some columns. So is that possible to pretty much exclude?
Yeah, you will have to rebuild it, and that will be a different version of the model. So
Okay.
you kind of refine it, right? I mean, you try it and then see how the model is looking like, and then refine it either with new data or by selecting different feature set. And that's exactly what we're talking about. So from here, you can see the column impact, and you can also see the scoring, right? The predicted versus actual. So this is the total all predictions that were performed, and then predicted no. Actually, it was no for these many, and then for some others, it was a wrong prediction. And you
And
can
Carrick says, like flipping a coin. Exactly.
right, and you can visualize it better also using advanced metrics and some of the like AIML terminologies, right? Confusion metrics, etc. Wherein the blue color, this represents the no that are truly no, that kind of thing, and then the actual value versus the predicted value, right? So all of these are possible, and then you can also choose like for what you are trying to get the precision, recall these metrics from the ML algorithm. And finally, if you are satisfied with the result that you are seeking for, you start predicting. And you click on predict. And you can do the same thing from Amazon Q as well. But from here, you can either do a manual prediction or you can do a automatic prediction. If you have batch of data that you want to run the prediction on, like multiple patients, then you can do a batch prediction. Or for single patient, you can run a single prediction. So for an example, we know now, we can probably cheat the system a little bit. We know that we had some of the columns like number of lab procedure, number of procedures. these had the highest impact on the prediction. So let's try to change some value and then see whether this brings in some of the result that changes from no. Okay. So
You're changing the value of like not to take into account in the prediction, correct?
no, so I am changing the value of, say, another patient, right?
Mm-hmm.
Consider that there is a new row of data, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what would be the value for readmitted? That's the prediction that I'm trying to get. So I'm changing essentially, instead of this data, if this person had 30 lab procedures,
That's
Mm-hmm.
too many.
right? Or other procedures, maybe say 40 of other procedures, would this person be in the risk of readmitting it,
Readmission. Mm-hmm.
right? So update the prediction with the feature importance and then say no. So if that person had multiple procedures, number of procedure, like this kind of data, then probably the readmission
The likelihood
or
of them
likelihood
being readmitted. Mm-hmm.
would be lesser. Okay. And then once you are happy with the predictions that it is making, it is trained, it is producing the perfect result, then you can create a deployment for this model. That way you have the endpoint, and if you have other applications that want to use that endpoint to do the prediction, then you can use that.
And that goes back to a question that we had earlier during the stream.
Yes. So the question was that, can you use the code, or can
Oh,
you
I didn't even realize it's got your favorite button, Zamara. Send to QuickSight.
send to QuickSight?
Thank
Yes.
you.
Exactly. So the model needs to be built with the standard build, and then you can send it to QuickSight. Yes.
Yep.
And then you can add it to model registry. And then once you add it to model registry, you can share it with other users. So by default, all the models that you are creating in SageMaker Canvas, those are only available to you. This is user specific, right?
Okay.
But you can share it with other user by adding it to model registry and SageMaker Studio users. So essentially, I mean, the idea is that the business analysts, product managers, they can use SageMaker Studio to experiment, right?
Mm-hmm.
Deploy, and then see whether it is adding any value. And then if they want further coding on top of it, they can actually publish it to model registry. And the data scientists, they can pick it up from the SageMaker Studio. They can further refine it, make corrections if required, and as required. Right. So
Essentially, it's creating a handoff in, like, based on the phase of the, let's say, where the project is at. Whether everybody's like, okay, where it's at, and it's like, okay, go fine tune it, make sure everything is working as it should.
Right.
Cosmic, we have a question from the audience. Is there such a thing as 100% prediction rate? Like it never gets a prediction wrong, which means that we've created some sort of Oracle model. What do you say to that?
I mean, with the real data set, probably with the actual business case, it will be close to, it can be close to 100%. But if you want to just get 100% prediction, you can have the data something like that, right? Which is clearly like yes or no type of thing. If the person has these features, it's yes, no, then it's possible. Yeah. But in the real world scenario, no, it may not have 100% prediction rate always.
I mean, there's always going to be statistical outliers, right? When you're building these model sets. So the real question is like, are you shooting for P95, P99? Like 99% sounds pretty good to me. I don't know.
Right. Absolutely.
But this depends on what your case is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So if we go back now to our Amazon queue, yes, our training job has successfully been launched.
Nice.
Very cool.
We should be able to see the model that was created.
Let's see if it's any better than the first one.
Yeah, I think that's this one that was just created. Let's see. No. Probably, what did I rename it as?
Today is the 16th. So
today is the 16th.
That looks like it is.
That looks like
yeah.
Looks like it.
The time kind of makes sense.
Yeah,
because then you have the standard one, version 2. It's even less accurate than the first one. What the heck?
Yeah, probably the data does not have the right, which model it was trained. So this is it. Accuracy is 68%. Okay, so this is new data set 2015-16 945 ml. I did not probably rename it correctly. So let's go to new data set.
61 is better. It's still failing. Still enough.
Yeah. I think it's showing this one. Yeah. So this is the model that was just created by our prompt. And it's 60.99. Much better than what I was showing you. So that's a success. Now, what are the other kind of problems that can be solved using SageMaker Canvas? If we just go to my model and then create a new model and then look at the options, problem types that we have, we see that we have image analysis. So this is kind of predictive analysis that we were performing. Right? There is image analysis, there are text analysis, fine tuning the foundation model. We will see that at a later point of time. And then if we select image analysis, I was thinking that if I get time, then I will show you this.
We got about a little less than 15 minutes here.
Less than 15 minutes. Okay. All right. We can do quickly. Look at this. So let me show you some of the data that I downloaded earlier. So I have two folders here. One is magnetic tiles train, and then another is magnetic tiles test. So magnetic tiles train essentially has pictures of magnetic tiles with defect as well as without defect. So the free ones are the pictures of magnetic tiles that does not have any defect in them.
When you say magnetic tiles, are you talking about like the ones that the kids play with?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, they can be used for multiple things, but then if you put like a nice casing on them and then colorful casing, they can be used for as kids toys, right? And then there are some which are, say, this is a picture of a magnetic tile which has crack in it. I don't see any crack. Okay, there is a crack here.
There is a crack in the middle right there, yeah.
And then if you look at it, this has breaks. So there's a picture of a magnetic tile. Okay, maybe here. This one is...
Yeah, a little chip to the bottom.
Yeah. So I don't remember how many pictures are there, but then it will tell us how many pictures are in this folder. And there are some blowholes. So if you look at this, this is another picture which has some blowhole. Connect.
What I like about this is this is the old school machine learning. And old school means literally only like 2 years ago.
Right? Right?
Things are just moving so fast.
I was like old school 2 years ago.
Yeah. So if we create a new model and then use image analysis, okay, we should have actually renamed it better, but we will do that later on. And here we can.
Are you able to rename it without rebuilding it?
We should be able to do it.
Oh, great. Okay.
Should be able to do it.
Because I noticed this in your file structure too, and I didn't say anything. But Irving was like, "Cracker, you are a hacker, I think." No, you crack of the magnet tiles. It's not like we're not trying to find some hacked software, find license keys or anything, folks.
Yeah. So funny thing, because I'm seeing all of these, right? So I volunteer at a middle school and as well as the elementary school. There is something called First Lego League, right? So wherein the kids build Lego robots and then nice format, and then you compete against other robot. So we and then as part of that entire robotics competition, you also build like innovation project. We call it innovation project, wherein you are trying to solve some problem. So last year for the Lego League, we were trying to create some models wherein the model will be able to find any new sea animals, right? Any new. So that's why we see these data sets that were uploaded. So we were doing some experiments. Cool. It worked nicely. It's like, if you are able to find. So we started with a shark or whale. We uploaded pictures of sharks and whales, and then it was able to identify later on. And then the sea animals essentially. So we selected the data set, and then
And like you
we
said, we do get what is it called? A drop down of how many images are in each of them, just like
right,
you mentioned before.
right, yeah. And all of these, so there are 200 images altogether. So all of these data set, they are labeled because
Mm-hmm.
we have already put them either in free or break or crack folder,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Mm-hmm.
that way the model knows that these are labeled. There are no unlabeled. If there were any unlabeled image, we could have labeled them here directly.
Okay.
Okay. And then once you have the data, you are trying to do quick build. We will see what is the accuracy that comes.
And like folks, just like this may not seem so impressive as we're just clicking through, but let's take a step back here and like think about like we didn't provision any servers, we didn't
Right?
install
Yeah.
any dependencies, we didn't have to know like pandas or any other like Python based tooling that we would need to
No
do to run these
coding, nothing.
models. We don't have to figure out what the commands are to do the things that we want to do. We're literally just able to press the button. So as like simple as this seems to be, or as like what's the word, like oh yeah, of course it should be that way.
Mhm.
But this is not usually the case.
It's not as straightforward.
No. If you wanted to build this, I mean, of course, there's all applications out there to do these things, but I just want to appreciate the serverless view. Yeah, and I have some good comments here. 15 minutes, it's quick build. I mean, think about what you're training here. Think about how much
Yes.
data.
Right. Yeah.
And then prop to the people who made SageMaker. It looks so easy and straightforward. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Nice. Yeah.
and even if the UI is not
Mm-hmm.
helping you all the way, then that's where Q comes in. Just like, hey, you just tell me what you want, and I'll tell you how to do it.
Although I would say the UI is very easy to navigate. I haven't had a problem following it along at all to be like, hey, what is this for? What is that for? It is
Yeah.
very straightforward. Even as we see that there is an integration with QuickSight, when you were over the customization area, you already kind of does that data, formation similar to what QuickSight does already.
Yeah. So while it is building, I can go back and then we can find a model that I built using the similar data set earlier. And that's this one. I think I built it this morning. Click on view. Okay, so this is a good news.
Wow,
So
90%.
if you look at this was the quick build, and my model score was very less. And then I did another build, which was a standard build. And let's look at this. 90%, this model predicts the correct levels 90% of the time. So there's a good score that we have got.
That is a good score.
That is a good score. Yeah.
So
let's try to predict.
yeah, let's predict.
So see, remember that I actually used only the train, right? I have not used the test data set. So this is a new data set for the model. It was not trained on this. So let's try to see if this is a.
We need the answer beforehand.
How do you know the answer? I did not really see any folder, so I don't know whether it was cracked or not.
No, I know. How do we know if it's right? You can pull back up the picture one more time. Maybe chat can help us.
Yeah, while we wait for the deployment.
Yeah, I think it is redeploying. It was not deployed before, right? So we can probably this will take a little bit of time.
Well, while you're doing that, you want to pull up the picture? We'll see if chat can figure it out.
Okay.
We have about 5 minutes left, so probably just enough time for this thing to redeploy and give you a result.
So this was the test data set, and if we look at one of these, does this look like this is defective?
Chat, we need your help. Is this defective? I'm gonna say no.
It kind of has a stain on the top. I don't know if it's my computer screen or it's that right there, like a little circle.
It's just dirty.
Yeah. So we will see how that works. I thought I predicted it, imported it. Still import image, single prediction, import image. Let me do it once again.
They say, I don't think so. It has a tiny crack on the end, but could have been just an image. Well, the image is what we're training on. So if there's a tiny crack, that's what we want to predict that it's bad. I guess not predict per se. It's accurately describe, maybe is a better term.
Yes, confirm it.
Right. Yeah. So looks like this is going to take a little bit of time, but since we have just 5 more minutes left, I will go to another feature that SageMaker Canvas has, and which is related to Gen AI. So it offers, a way for you to quickly access foundation models powered by Amazon Bedrock and SageMaker Jumpstart. So that's one way of doing it. And if you have documents, you can create indexes using Amazon Kendra, and then you can use that index more of like a RAG retrieval augmented generation solution that is possible. And then you can also create a fine tune a foundation model, so for specific task related to domain specific data, and that would require again a data set. So we'll not do that. We will just quickly look at like a quick chat playground of generative AI, right? So if we select, say, Claude 2 model, I think I don't have the latest models here now, then you can ask questions that tell me a question that you want to ask. Maybe do some ideation related to ML problems that you want to solve, right?
Anything
So,
that can come to mind for the audience, something that you've been thinking about, maybe we can give you a solution here.
right, yeah.
Or how do we increase our viewership?
Oh, yeah, yeah. How do we increase viewers for our Twitch show?
Oh, I did step 1. That's good.
Optimize your title.
Okay, we are in stream consistency. We do that as well.
Oh, we're interacting with our audience. I think we're doing pretty well, honestly. Thanks, Claude.
Focus on game or topic choice, improve the production quality. Okay. Be entertaining and still.
And we are very entertaining, right, Matt?
We haven't done a giveaway, though. So
yeah. Maybe I can play percussion instruments for your next show, Matt.
There you go.
Oh,
Perfect.
Perfect. We need a live band like the Tonight Show.
Right,
oh,
right.
They said Claude is so kind and you're entertaining. Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Right. So you can also compare between 2 different models and see.
This is very similar to what you have in Bedrock, right?
Right. Exactly. So for an example, you want to. It's more like playground, right? So here and then I have selected Claude and Llama, and then maybe asking like, how can I use or SageMaker Canvas effectively? Let's see what it says. Yes, if we look at this, think experiment with hyperparameters, use parameters, version and organize.
Mama likes bullets versus.
I was gonna say I
numbers.
like the numbers because it gives me like a clear. I don't know. I'm more of a visual person, and then I feel like I have to go count the the bullet points.
Right. Yeah. But pretty much very similar type of answers that you see. Test and evaluate, monitor, integrate. Integration was missing here. So yeah, I think Claude did better probably. Anyway, so this is what is possible. And we will give it a last chance. Go back to my models and see whether the deployment for the model, or at least let's see whether this one is ready. This is the standard and predict. We'll try it again once again.
Okay.
No.
That's redeploying. Oh well.
But we can probably let me see if I can use the quick model and see whether
that's the bad one. Why do you want to use that one?
Let's
That's not going to be correct.
At least if it works.
Let's just see what
And
it
we're just gonna
does.
give you a wrong answer. Come on.
No, so the entire model is redeploying. It will not work now. It will probably
Mhm.
take some time to redeploy.
Well, folks, as we wrap up, gosh, I'm gonna pull your screen and give you back. Oh, I want to go back to the normal mode.
Mhm.
Yeah, we got something. At least we got to have the thrill of making it work.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
That's always the fun. Is this is how you know it's live, folks. We always
Mhm.
there's some cooking show things that are done beforehand, but can't do everything. But if you've got any last questions about SageMaker Canvas, put them in the chat.
Or
Kaushik, any
what is one of the big takeaways as well for the audience today? One of the key features that they've liked.
yeah, exactly. Let us know.
Anything that
Kaushik,
you
any
did not
parting
like.
words for the audience in terms of what to look out for or where they should get started?
So I think it's pretty much self-explanatory. If
Mhm.
you just click through it, it will know. But then there is a lot of good documentation. If you are experimenting with SageMaker Canvas, just on your first screen that you see on the right-hand
Mhm.
side, you will see there are like a lot of guides that are available, and some of those are like step-by-step guide. So
Mhm.
use those, get yourself familiar with it, and it's fun. It's actually fun as we saw it, right? You are just
Yep,
building your model, training it, and then trying to do something useful.
I agree. Well, thank you so much for joining us today and walking us through this topic. I think that the audience and Matt and I have enjoyed it tremendously.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for having me. I really liked it being here. Thanks so
Our audience going, oh no, it's the end. Well, folks, um, we're here every week from 2 Pacific to 3 Pacific, 5 to 6 on the Eastern. So next week, we'll be talking about app modernization, something that we talk with a lot of customers on. How do you take those applications that were lifted and shifted and start to make them more cloud native? So that's what we'll be talking about next week. Also, I have a shameless plug for those that are still tuning in that just want more content. I was on the Screaming in the Pod podcast, Corey Quinn's podcast. If you've never
Oh,
listened to Corey Quinn from last week in AWS, he is
Yes.
a hilarious and snarky take on the world of cloud computing. Corey and I did a reInvent talk together last December, and we came on this podcast to kind of tell folks more about how that came together and what it's like presenting there. So check out the Screaming in the Cloud podcast. I plugged this show in it, so I'm just kind of returning the favor to Corey. And yeah, please check it out. Anything left that you want to plug, Kaushik?
No, I'm good. Thank you. Thank you so much. And then I will watch your show next week, Matt.
yeah. And
Perfect.
we have one of our comments saying, "Thank you for spending your time to teach us about SageMaker."
Well, thank
Absolutely.
you for spending your time with us. And for those that are watching the recording, again, make sure to tune in live and to get your comments in there. We'll see you next week. And Samara, any parting words? Because I know you're going
I know.
on
I
a lot
was
of
gonna
vacation. You want to
say,
say something to the viewers before you go?
well, you won't see me in the next few weeks, but don't fret, I will be back. But just so you all know, I will be taking some PTO, but I'm excited to come back and join the stream as soon as I'm back from PTO. But in the meantime, take care and have a lot of fun, Matt.
Yeah, thank you, and take care to everyone on the stream,
Bye.
and
Have
we'll
a
see
great
you next
week.
week.
Bye.
Bye.